Hey there, kids or adults with kid-like minds. I just wanted to start this off with a little disclaimer. I know it hasn't even been 2 years since Salmonella has stopped uploading, but I thought I might as well fill the void with my crappy subpar replacement. So, children, when you think of an Asian kid, what do you normally think of? You might be thinking, oh, homework, or rice, or Banzai! But personally, those are racist stereotypes, and you are no longer welcome in the year 2021. But the overzealous Asian kid stereotype is still a prolific thing in American society, and sometimes you have to realize not every kid who is Asian wants to actually do that. And this is a great example of when it backfires tremendously. The year was 1986, and there was a lot of fun events happening during this time period, like, the Chernobyl disaster. But this isn't all the medicinal menageries of this time period. Another little magical treasure happened during this day. A little girl born by the name of Jennifer emerged into this world. Another fact to keep in mind is that Jennifer grew up in Canada, which probably isn't the best thing for her psychological state. And some people might try to dispute whether Canada is a third world country or not, but I have South Park on my side, and what do you have? Justin Trudeau? Ha, no thanks. So, to recapitulate, she is the daughter of two immigrant parents, so there is a little bit of pressure there, and by a little bit, I mean enough pressure for her to kill her parents. Also, get this. One of the parents' names was Bitch. Fucking Bitch. I think I would kill my parents if their first name was Bitch. Just kidding. So yeah, her parents also had her do piano lessons at 4 and figure skating, so instead of becoming the next Lucy Liu, she became the next Lucy Lunatic. Ha, see what I did there? Also, she was never allowed to partake in partying with her friends if she was even allowed to have friends, and she was absolutely not allowed to have boyfriends. And her daily activities were monitored closely, so there wasn't really any wiggle room for her to, say, fuck it, I'm doing what I want to do anyway. But this in of itself doesn't sound too bad, but when you factor in pressure plus lack of relaxation items, you get... And she probably at this point thinks her family is
literally Hitler.
But it looks like things weren't too bad because apparently her parents were very hardworking, so at least they weren't hypocrites. But could you imagine just be timely monitored, but by the time you get home, your parents are just face drunk, completely exhausted from the most minor amount of work, and they just expect you to like push the moon over? That'd be hilarious. Oh, by the way, she also went to a Catholic school, which there's nothing wrong with that, but there's already pressure, so maybe the fear of God wasn't exactly the push she needed. So we've talked about her conditioning, but one thing I have failed to mention is Jennifer's intelligence. She is kind of extremely stupid, because throughout all the tutoring, coaxing, and peer pressure by her parents, she seems to consistently fail at school considering the pressure. Although this didn't stop her from lying about her school exploits and how successful she was in it, when in fact she was an absolute failure. Oh, by the way, you know how I said she wasn't allowed to have a boyfriend? That part's true, but I never said she didn't have one. And you know how I said she was a complete failure? She apparently had some musical talent and gave piano lessons, which is kind of interesting considering she was a 70 student out of 100. And it's not like that's just her doing her, that's her doing her absolute best. She would also lie about hanging around campus when really she went to go see her boyfriend, Vince Chung. That's not his name, but I think that's a nice alias, even though you can easily go to Wikipedia to find this information. And in a way, he was a lot like her. They were both Aishwans with parents that had high expectations, and they both sucked at school. Although, in this case, he actually sold the marijuanas towards the other students, so he wasn't exactly the most ideal boyfriend for the parents for her to have. But luckily for her, they didn't know about it. Until they did. But could you imagine getting a piano lesson and you just stare into your teacher's face while they're just 1,000-mile yards staring, just thinking in their head, I'm going to kill my parents. I'm going to kill my parents. And you're just sitting there like, Mrs. Wong? Yeah, yes. Are we playing this in A minor or A sharp? Well, look at the key signature. What does it say? You haven't taught me that yet. Today's the day. So eventually her parents found out about her boyfriend, and they were really, really close to throwing her out of the house. They were about to Kobe Bryant kick that bitch into next week, but they didn't. But keep in mind, they had all this heavy set rules as a 20-year-old. As a 20-year-old woman, or 24 or something, she was not allowed out to date under their roof. So it was, how would you say this in the linguistic terms? Oh yeah, oppressive. Also, given the environment, it's not too surprising that they eventually broke it off, but the way they did it is absolutely daunting. So apparently, he got sick of the whole meeting in secret things, her parents trying to kill her, or, and he broke it off. But then Jennifer started lesing out. Post-production script here just said as a disclaimer, I misread it. The boyfriend found a new girl. So Jennifer is just a murderer and not actually gay, which is way better. And then, get this, faked getting gang, intercoursed, and went through medium to greater lengths to prove it to him with the help of her, leso girlfriend,
Why are you gay?
which is hilarious and tragic, kind of like Shakespeare. I could go on to more poorly researched detail, but let's get into the murder. In the spring of 2010, Pan was in contact with Andrew Matoyer, a high school friend who she claims had boasted in her high school years about robbing people at knife point. An assertion that was later denied by Montoyer, but we all know this dude's probably just a snitch to himself. And she allegedly got a kid around $1,500 to kill her father in a parking lot, but that went nowhere. And then she tried to give another kid $200 for a night out, but then he returned it after she requested to kill her parents. Then, according to the police, she went to hire a professional hitman to kill her parents, and co-inspired to inherit $500,000 and plan to move in together, which I find quite interesting. Like, do you really want to live with somebody who is willing to kill your parents, no questions asked?
I'll fucking do it again.
Yeah. The murder took place in Pan's house in Unionville. In Unionville, a neighborhood in Markham, Ontario. On November 8, 2010, Pan unlocked the front door of the family home. Oh shit. When she went to bed, they spoke on the phone to Meleke Lachava Me Mi Evega Miva Maga Miga Valahaga Vi Mi Eva Agan Anam Miga Vanagam. Shortly afterwards, Minagalagavam and two other people entered the home through the unlocked door, all carrying guns. In the court testimony, the Crown did not establish the identity of the two other hitmen. Wong and Crawford were at work. Artie stated that he was the driver for those two who broke in the house and did that he selected them and was involved in plotting the attack. He did not state that he was one of the three who directly attacked others. After demanding all the money in the house and ransacking the main bedroom, the three men took Bitch and Han to the basement where they shot them multiple times. Bitch was killed, but Han survived his wounds. The three men then took all the cash as there was, the house including, and $2,000 from Pan and left. Pan claimed they tied her up, but that she managed to break free of her hands and called 911. Police! Pan was treated at Markenham Sofield Hospital before moving to the trauma unit at Sunnybrook Hospital, Ontario, by aircraft. Okay, so you know how I said she was pretty stupid? Well, she left a lot of loose ends and she eventually got caught. So moral of the story, kids, if you do kill your parents, don't be an idiot about it. See ya. Also, she was never allowed to go to any parties or partake in any dating of the male gender. In the spring of 2010, Pan was contacted with Andrew Montoyer, a high school friend she claims had boosted in her high school years about robbing people at knife point, an assertion denied by Montoyer or oh God, this is really poorly written. Pan claims she gave $1,500 to kill her father in a parking lot at his workplace. Goddamn. Dan Kuhn alleged that she once gave him $200 for a night out, but then he returned it and that he refubbed her when and she asked him to kill her parents. Pan and Wong were back in contact at this time,
according to the police, came up to the hire professional hitman and for $10,000 to kill her parents, calculating that she would inherit $500,000. They planned to move in together. Wong contacted Pan with a... oh my fuck. I'm doing this again.
All right, let's go to the bank.